so I comped the CBE organization, which is Consulting in Business and Environment. I would think like in normal circumstances, I would never go into consulting. Like that was just something I never would have considered. But given that consulting is like very virtually like transposable, like I feel like if we go back home for a second semester, I think I can carry on like working with CBE
Oh,
pretty easily. Like I'm wondering like if how much that changes people's like pathways, because like I would never like what if I love CBE and like end up doing consulting, right?
yeah.
Um, in any normal year, I would never even have considered it, and therefore I would never have considered going into consulting. So I'm wondering like how many Harvard students might like fundamentally change their pathways because of the decisions made in quarantine. You know,
Yeah,
have you
no.
guys made any decisions like that so far that like specifically has been imposed by quarantine?
Yeah, I mean, like I can speak for myself and for a friend of mine. For me, I guess personally, it's slightly different. It's more so that I don't have to worry about in person practices for like my golf team or tournaments or traveling as much, and
Yeah.
so there I have like more time to do something else that I'm interested in, such as like I applied for the first year social committee, and I think we find out about that next week. So in ordinary circumstances, like I just would not have time for that, and so I wouldn't do it. But I guess like also, but like going more on like what you were kind of saying, like I have a friend, her name's Paula, and she said she was just so extremely bored because of quarantine that she like comped like almost like probably like a total of 10 different organizations. And I was just like, Paula, like what are you doing? Like you're not gonna have time for this. It's just like, and I was bored, and I feel like that's just like a result of quarantine. Like she wasn't necessarily interested in these things, but like again, like you said, they're so compatible with like the virtual format that she just like went for it anyways.
Mhm.
For me, it's kind of the opposite, I guess. Like, I was really looking forward to like trying all these new things, and I guess just reflecting on myself, like instead of doing that, now I just double down on the things that I'm more comfortable with.
Oh,
Um, and with like promising myself that I get to explore all these new areas next year.
Mhm.
Um,
yeah.
which I don't know if that's just a reflection on my style, but
No, I mean, I
that's
kind of
what
did
I
that with
did.
classes. Yeah.
Yes, I would say classes for sure. Yeah, I'm curious to know how many students like have that same mindset, Brad. Like treating this year almost right as like a weird interim year that not that it doesn't count, but it counts differently. Right? Like for instance, I did not take a language class this year specifically for the reason that I feel like language is in-person language classes are kind of necessary.
Oh, I completely agree, but I still am taking one.
Yeah, yeah, that's a clear cut example of me making a decision for my academics explicitly because of quarantine and COVID. And like I'm wondering like how many people have made such decisions as well, and like how, like if you were to, obviously you can't do this perfectly, right? But like if you were to compare you, if you had 4 normal years of Harvard versus you with 1 year of COVID COVID Harvard, like how different would those two people be? And especially as freshmen, where as they all say, your first years are most formative, and your first year dictates the rest of your
Mhm.
3 years, right? Like, you know, I don't know if I'm scared, but I'm certainly curious to know like how much would I have been different without this year, you know?